Howdy, howdy, everybody. I appreciate you coming by. I got a funny, cute story. I think everybody enjoy this one. When we were on the 17 acres, maybe for a few years, when it rained and the roads got muddy, we couldn't get our little two-wheel drive. I know, station wagon, a car or something. We used to like to take that to town because it saved the gas mileage. We were broke and everything, and so we like to take the little economy car or station wagon. I can't remember what it was now. And but the road was muddy. We didn't have it gravelled back then and stuff like that. So we're going on a totally muddy road, going uphill and everything else. So what we had this Dodge Ram Charger. In fact, we still have it. It's kind of, if you know what a Ram Charger is, it's kind of Dodge's version of the Blazer. Big gnarly thing, jacked up, 6-8 inches, big tires. It went anywhere, did anything, pulled anybody out. So what we would do was we would park the little car up at the top of the road, and we just leave it there until the road dried up. Then we'd bring it down to the house. But to get up there, if we had to go to town or something like that, we'd get in the Ram Charger and we'd drive up, and park it up there. It's at the main road. There's a little parking area there. We did that, and then we'd load up into the little car and go do our shopping and whatever, and come back and transfer the food or whatever into the Ram and go back down to the house. When it dried up, everybody went back. The cars went back home. So anyway, there was this one day it was like that. We took the Ram up and we got in, and and got in the car and we did our errands and stuff. Anyway, so we're heading back to the house, and we're maybe 2-3 miles from our road, and all of a sudden I could see in the corner of my vision that there was a small little deer. It wasn't. He was. I always call teenager deers, bigger than this. He was maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking 50 pounds. I don't know. So big. Wasn't a little fawn, but he wasn't, that old. But I could see him, and he ran out, like they get spooked sometimes when a car goes by, and he ran out, and he ran into the fender of our car, because I seen it. I tried to stop, but he just bang, hit, and we're all, wow, what happened, and it knocked him out. And so I, stopped the car and looked at him, and he was out cold. He was breathing, but he was just knocked out, like he was on a boxing match or something. Some guy decked him, and I didn't want to eat him or nothing. I mean, he wasn't much there anyway. But so I. Yeah, it was a car. Yeah. Huh?
With our neon.
Oh, he had a little Dodge Neon, I think it was. Yeah, you're right, kind of nice. And so we popped the trunk, and he was. I picked him up, and he's out. I mean, he's out like Joe Louis nailed him or something. And I didn't know if he was going to die or what. I didn't know what was going on inside him, because he hit the car pretty hard. And dropped him. So anyway, so I picked him up, and I put him in the trunk temporarily. I didn't want to leave him there. I don't know what I'm going to. So anyway, so then we got back to our road where the Ram Charger was, and we had a bunch of stuff in the car. We had to bring from the one car to the Ram Charger. Quite a few little loads, and all the kids, all four of them, had to grab something and move it over. And so I popped the trunk, and the deer pops up his head, and he reminds me of these old cartoons I used to watch, when I was a kid, the pop, what some guy's half out of it, you see the stars, going around his head, and he's kind of daisy look, he's kind of got his, weird look on his face, like, that's what he looked like. He woke up, but he popped his head, and he was sitting there, doing this. And so I looked at him. I'm talking to him. We're right here. Yeah, I'm looking at the guy, or whatever it is. And I said, "Okay, buddy, I says, and he's looking at me, and not even fazed by being, in front of a human that far. So he's like this, and his head swerving. I go, okay, you got about 5 minutes. I tell him like this, nose to nose, just, you got 5 minutes to wake up and get out of my trunk, or I'm gonna, you're going, you're gonna be on the table, the dinner table. And he's, so anyway, so the kids are they're moving the stuff from one car to the next, and he's sitting there watching, and so anyway, so we got done loading. I'm looking at the guy, and he's still sitting there, like this, and so finally I'm walking up to him, and he looks, sobers up or whatever, and then darts off, jumps out of the trunk, and I thought that was kind of a cute little. So I wasn't really going to do anything with him. I thought worst comes to worst, so I left him there because he was waking up. But I thought it was funny. There's another little, doesn't have anything to do with the woods, but there's my buddy Dennis, my big buddy Dennis. He had a cute little thing, bee on a string, and what that was he used to catch a bee, and he would put it. I know we didn't hurt the bee for those bee people out there. He would take it and he would put it in the freezer, alive. Just put it in the freezer and keep an eye on it. And he would keep an eye on it, and he's in a jar or something. And the bee would finally just lay there. I don't know, it wasn't dead or nothing, but he would lay there. He knew about how long ago. So he would take it out of the freezer when it got to that point, and he would take a piece of thread, like 3, 4 feet, 5 feet long, and he would tie it real easy, real lightly. He would tie it around the bee, around its torso. And then, it's funnier than hell. Then he would wait for the bee to revive itself, which it did. And so they'd be flying, and he'd have it on a string. So he'd be sitting there walking around the house with this, and he's got this bee on a string falling. I thought it was the funniest doggone, thing I ever seen. That was great. It's great for little kid parties and stuff like that. It was a good little deal. But anyway, those kind of couple cute little stories. I thought I'd see if you liked them or not. Thanks. Bye.